And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for October 1st. The only real feature today is Hurricane Marie, which is intensifying in the eastern Pacific, and high hopes from the National Hurricane Center that this will become a significant hurricane as it moves out to sea. We'll see whether that happens. Looks like it will. Elsewhere, the remnants of Kujira out in the western Pacific there. Also, the remnants of Paulette are still active on day 122 of Atlantic hurricane season. 3 other areas of interest, including that medium chance in the western Caribbean Sea. That's the primary focus, and that could develop by day 3 or maybe even sooner if it gets going quickly. Day 139 in the eastern Pacific. Alongside Marie, there are 2 other areas of interest, and these 2 could be more of a threat to land. We don't know yet at this point. That's a long range thing, but we're probably looking beyond the 5-day period to see what happens to them. And in the western Pacific, we do have 2 other areas of interest. A 50% chance now out in the open western Pacific. That area is breeding a lot of storms at the moment, and it could be another one on the way. And a 10% chance off the Philippines, not looking like that one develops. And in the southwest Indian Ocean now, we have a 10% chance area of interest south of the equator for an area that could develop in the next 5 days. That disturbance will end up moving towards the west. The North Atlantic looks like this right now. You can see a hub of activity really. The central Caribbean Sea, you can see that very high cloud tops south of Jamaica, and that's what's got that 60% chance. To the east there you can see more rumblings around the Lesser Antilles, so that's the other area to watch later on as well. Both of them could develop. Gulf of Mexico looking pretty quiet north of the Yucatan. The eastern Pacific, you can quite clearly see Marie and its quite significant influence, particularly on the southern side. Further east you've got a little bit more cloud cover emerging off the coast of Mexico, and again that could be one of the disturbances that develops. I'm not sure that one just behind Marie will be the one, but further behind that perhaps. The western Pacific then, looking out for more activity here. It's probably going to come out of that blob that's just situated just to the west of the Mariana Islands. It will jog northwestwards over the next day or so, and then it will stall for a little while, and it looks like it'll intensify as it moves over the Ogasawara island chain of Japan. The South Pacific looks like this. Rainfall still occurring over parts of the Solomon Islands and easternmost Papua New Guinea. The Indian Ocean looking rather quiet, and the coast of India really, the eastern coast is where it's all at right now with significant rainfall. No signs of that South Indian Ocean disturbance just yet. We'll keep our eyes peeled. The eastern Pacific then, temperatures still jumping up a little bit there off the coast of Mexico, 30 degrees plus in some areas, and where the storms are right now, 28 degrees, quite abundant. Marie will have a little while to intensify. The Atlantic, much more time for intensification here for those Caribbean Sea storms if they form. 30 degrees plus, especially in the western Caribbean Sea, definitely worth watching for anything that's going towards the Yucatan. And in the Indian Ocean, the northernmost part of the Bay of Bengal, 30 degrees plus, and the South Indian Ocean starting to get temperatures going up a little bit there as well. The western Pacific, looks like temperatures are decreasing a little bit at the northern extent of that 30 degree patch, but most of the Philippine Sea remains super warm there, especially into the South China Sea as well on the other side of Luzon. So late season activity, it could be quite significant in the western Pacific. You can't rule that out at all. Sea surface temperature anomalies still well above average over most of the western Pacific. The La Nina in the eastern Pacific, although the subtropics warmer than usual, and the tropical zone off the coast of Mexico as well. The Atlantic Caribbean very warm, as is the western Atlantic. On this day, on October the 1st, 2005, it wasn't the Atlantic we were most interested in on this day, although there were 2 depressions, 19 and 20. Hurricane Otis was off the coast of the Baja California Peninsula, and Typhoon Longwang was peaking as a Category 4 today before striking Taiwan. Also, we had Norma, which had weakened to a depression, maybe even a remnant low by now, and Tropical Depression 3 in the Indian Ocean. Also on this day, Hurricane Matthew reached its peak intensity in the early hours, which we didn't have time to show you just there, and also coming up Joaquin as well. In the Atlantic, in 2020 though, the next name on the list, very extensive and exhausted list, is Gamma, the Greek letter. In the Eastern Pacific, we're now looking out for Norbert. In the Central Pacific, it's still Hone that we're waiting for. In the Western Pacific, the next name is Chanhom, followed by Linfa. In the North Indian Ocean, the next name on list 1 is Gati. In the Southern Hemisphere, no signs of life just yet. Could that be about to change? In the Australian region, the next name is Imogen. In the Southwest Indian Ocean, the first name would be Alicia. And in the South Pacific, it's Yolanda. That's all for now. We'll have another tropical weather bulletin tomorrow night.